box with a window. Good morning. That was the Stereophonics with I Wouldn't Believe Your Radio. And I love that lyric. If I had myself a flying giraffe, you'd have one in a box with a window. The reason I'm playing Stereophonics is because Kelly Jones, the lead singer, wordsmith, frontman, I really like him. And this goes back to many years ago when I saw him in an interview. And he was asked what a particular song meant or what inspired him to write a particular song. And the answer he gave was absolutely phenomenal. It was great. And it really touched me and it stuck with me all this time. He said that he heard one of his heroes get asked the same question many years ago in an interview. And when the particular musician revealed what the song meant, or what it meant to him, or what inspired him to write the song, it kind of shattered his dreams a little bit. So he refused to answer this question, you know, when it happened to him. And I really liked that, you know, because he said that songs have different meanings to everybody. And when we hear a particular song and we think it means something and it takes us through a particular period in our life, then it's served its purpose, you know. But when somebody comes along and says, well, I didn't actually mean that, you know, it kind of shatters the illusion a little bit. So anyway, this is going to lead me on to a little bit of absurdity that I experienced the other day. And that was to do with a video that I was, not drawn towards, I was pointed towards. And it's to do with a guy called Ronald Bernard. Bernard? I've got to do a video on Westworld. If not only to just say Bernard. But I love the fact that Bernard came out of that. Anyway, yeah, so this guy, ex-Illuminati banker exposes the elite in English. This is just funny. Or it was funny to me. I'm hoping it'll be funny to you guys. I hope it might be a little bit kind of maybe enlightening to how absurd this arena of conspiracy theory really is, or really is becoming. Anyway, this guy, so this interview. So somebody has seen this interview and it's given them a real hard-on, you know. Sorry for using that term, but they were just really pumped up about it. They really just needed to kind of get it out. And yeah, so he says, oh, so this guy, he says this and the other. And he's a Dutch banker. And there's subtitles. So my battery's going flat. There's subtitles so you can hear exactly what he said, and straight away alarm bells were ringing. He said, but now somebody has actually put the voiceover on top of it, and it's the digital voiceover. You know, the dude that you can type stuff in, and it's a composite of words. It must have been a dude at some point that went along and did voiceover work. And yeah, they marry all these like composites of words and phrases and stuff together. So it sounds very, very robotic, very, very mind-numbingly kind of program-like. And it's also got the Pleiadian High Council chick, the favourite of all the New Age kind of New Age promoters. You know, when they'd read stuff in a book, they would type it out, or they would cut and paste it and then get this voiceover thing, and it was always the same lady, dear ones, this is the... I can't even do the voice at the moment. But yeah, anyway, what I found really absurd about it was, so not only is this guy, you're not actually listening to his words, you are, but somebody's literally putting words into his mouth. That was it. That was happening while the subtitles were being added. So there's somebody literally putting words into his mouth. Now, whether or not he's actually saying the things that are subtitled at the bottom, I'm not Dutch, you know, I don't know if there are any Dutch viewers. But I found that just the thing that kind of my eyes opened to was they're actually just putting these words into this guy's mouth, and people are buying this hook, line and sinker. Then they're literally doing it by doing this voiceover thing, you know, so it wasn't even his original voice, so it's gone through so many filters, you know. But that's all that aside, you know, there's nothing to say that this guy was a banker, is an elitist, is a millionaire, is any of these things he claims to be. I don't know if he's got any credentials, and even if he does, none of it makes any sense. Why would he expose the guys from down the club? You know, I mean, if there is such a big conspiracy as being promoted, you know, then everyone at the golf club, you know, everyone at the country club is in on it, or most of them are, to a certain degree. And all this about kind of, I get this with Freemasonry when they say it's layers of secrets. If you're joining an organisation whose business it is to keep secrets, then you know you haven't got the whole story, you know, no matter where you're at in that pyramid, you know. And the knowledge that is being kind of touted around as being precious and secret and sacred, and it's all out there now. It's all on the internet. We're awash with knowledge, and most of it is being buried in a barrel of bullshit, you know. And most of it you really do have to work for, in that sense. But it's cheap. That's not it's not the real deal, you know. It's yesterday's news, you know, now, or stuff about the chakras and kind of the Reiki symbols and all these things that people, and I think this is really the universe's way of cleaning that, you know, because a lot of people will take it and try and make a business out of it, and it just becomes laughable now, you know. Just people's intentions, you know, like I say, people are becoming naked before my eyes. When it comes to people that are kind of on this spiritual quest, and they suddenly believe that the universe has given them an easy life, and then they get easier. I like the way the universe is kind of treating these people, you know, because like I've said many times, I believe that that's the last temptation, to think that you've got something that someone else hasn't, being a channel for God, but then wanting to put your price on it and say that the Spirit's told you the price and all this. I've always had a real problem with people that claim to be genuine healers or genuine truthers. That they're still searching themselves. They're still trying to kind of fulfill a role themselves. They're trying to save you, you know. And the messages I hear all the time along is you save yourself. And I truly do believe that. I've gone somewhat serious. So to bring this back into the world of the weird, what do you believe? How do you actually know when something is genuine? You know, how do you know when something is real? You feel it, you know, you don't think it. If you're thinking and thinking and thinking about something, then it hasn't made its way into your heart, you know. But when you kind of take the thinking out of the way and allow yourself to just kind of play a little bit, and loosen, you know. I love this. There was something that I read or something that I heard, and it said that learning should be like walking next to a slowly moving river, you know, as it should be a relaxed experience, you know. And that was said, it was Buddha, you know. I don't know, and I can't make that reference. And when I've gone to look it up, this is the strange thing, when I've gone to look up this, learning should be like taking a walk next to a slowly moving river, or a slow walk next to a river. I couldn't find it. You know, I couldn't find this quote, so I can't tell you where it's from. But what it means to me is you can't learn when you're trying to jam so much into your head and you're trying to figure so much out and you're using your head so much. When I kind of let that go and I let that voice quieten, something happens, you know, and these things are usually really fucking weird, you know, and they're really personal. But what's happened to me in the last few days, I saw it coming. It's so bizarre, you know, that I have to share it. And it's all to do with something called moldavite. And moldavite is a tektite. It's a kind of glass. It came from a meteor that was that crashed in Czechoslovakia, the Czech Republic, 15 million years ago, give or take a week or two. But this is what's claimed 15 million years ago. And yeah, it's this like emerald coloured glass, you know, could be the emerald tablets, could be kryptonite. That's what I refer to it as being. And the more I learn about it, that would make so much sense. And I first came across this stone in a little shop in a place in Pewsey in Wiltshire. So that's right by Avebury and Stonehenge. And yeah, real kind of mystical energy. And the stuff that went on last time I went there was a bit too much for me to deal with, if I'm honest. And yeah, I first come into contact with this stone, and it's been calling me ever since. Now, I've had stones. I have like crystals, and I used to give like crystals away, and I used to want to get to understand the meaning of crystals and things, but I was never really convinced. They never really, and that's what I need. I'm Thomas the Doubter. You know, I'm the constant skeptic. That's why I won't easily believe anything. And when people ask me what I believe, I'm a little bit kind of, yeah, I tiptoe around it, you know, because I like to keep my beliefs quite fluid. Anyway, this stone, the synchronicities that have popped up since going to Pewsey, and that was the full moon. That was the full moon that fell on the solstice, the equinox, yeah, around December 21st, a couple of years back. And I went up to Avebury that time, and loads of crazy stuff happened in this area. I'll tell more stories about that. But this stone, like I say, I found this stone, and I kind of hinted to my dad to buy me a piece of this stone. And my dad's not into any of that. But he ended up buying all these crystals and things for my auntie and a few other people. He bought me a few like little bits and pieces. I think some sage and stuff from this shop. And he was looking at the flower of life, because I'm trying to get him to do some geometry, to do some art, because it's really good for the balancing the brain. And Dad's into art. But anyway, we're in this shop. He didn't buy me this piece of moldavite, but it's been calling me ever since. Or this store's been calling me. And yeah, we stayed at this place called the Circles B&B. And they had all these books on crop circles. And yeah, so it was pretty full on, you know. And coming away from that, like I say, I feel this stone now calling me, you know. And it's unbelievable. It comes up in every video. When I'm not looking at anything to do with crystals or moldavite or anything like that, my friend Brian Haggerty, that I met, or kind of met, I've never met him, had some interactions with, he's awesome. I tried to debunk the debunkers, but then he came round to the Mandela effect, and that was really lovely. And yeah, this was only, yeah, a matter of weeks ago. But he mentioned moldavite. Then a few other people mentioned moldavite. And now I can't get the stuff out of my mind. I've looked at a few videos on it. The more I learn, the more I hear. It's just unbelievable. And whatever negative entities, let's just put that term on it, I have around me, they are shit scared at the moment, and they don't want me getting there to get that stone, because once I get that stone, and I don't even believe in that, or I'm having trouble coming to terms with that, but I energetically feel it. And I've always felt this from any kind of healing modality or anything like that. Whenever I always used to be late for yoga, it was always trouble getting to yoga. There was always trouble surrounding things that did me any good. But these videos are going to take a really, really drastic. There's going to be a transformation, you know, on this channel, and I felt this coming. I've kind of alluded to this, but I needed to kind of make these. I don't know how many videos or how many weeks or how many months I've been doing this. I had to make these videos for like the before and the after. You know, I've been cleaning the inside of my cup and dish, you know, if you get that reference. So what's on the outside, all this stuff, it's become more and more irrelevant to me, you know, making the connection with my inner and outer world, you know, building that kind of rainbow bridge. That's been my task up until now. And I definitely feel like I'm finding it easier to break the fifth wall and let that in and let that flow to you guys. But yeah, so I'm off to Wiltshire. So I'm going to take the camera. We'll go up to Stonehenge, to Avebury. I'll show you this crystal shop. I'll tell you the story about the weird synchronicity with the guy from the BBC. And he was instrumental in the Ted Heath kind of stuff. And I was going to an alien conference there, or it was all to do with aliens. I took my dad along this time. And I'm actually on YouTube already on the Basis Project. And yeah, there's a talk by a guy called Prince Bayo. And I'm the guy that speaks up at the end. And I very nearly got caught up in that, that world, you know, of, don't even know what to call it. But the reason I was there and everything that kind of unfolded out of that, I know it's meant to be, but it's very weird, because that's not me in my kind of, it's like having a double identity. It's very, very hard to put my finger on. I can't think about most of this stuff. Right, I've really got to tie this up because the battery's about to die. I can't think about most of this stuff too much of the time, you know, because it serves me no purpose. So I need to learn how to kind of, be cool with it, you know, be cool with kind of that separateness of the dream time and this time. But it's becoming to, the story's emerging. That's how it feels. All these parts of my life are all coming together. And, like I say, all these, everything that I kind of challenge, every time that I kind of come face to face with a disbelief, or I go to kind of, it's just too much, I just get more proof, or I just get the answer that I was looking for. As soon as I stop kind of, I love this analogy. A fool, when he stands at a fountain, they're like most of the world. They're trying to grab the water out of the fountain with their hands, clutch it like this. A wise man will just cup his hands and allow them to fill, you know. And when you stop grasping, it's very, very, it's a very foreign place to be, you know, when you stop looking for so many answers, you know, because the answer comes so gently. You know, it's very, very strange. It's not, it's that whole thing about kind of, you don't learn from kind of just trying to cram stuff into your head. You learn from kind of allowing or getting rid of all that crap in your head, and then, just allowing the answers to come. But anyway, I really didn't know what this video was going to be about today. Yeah, it was about that. It was about kind of putting words into other people's mouths. I mean, even if he was kind of speaking in my native tongue and he was saying all this stuff that apparently he's been saying, I'd struggle to believe that that's actually true, because this goes back to before I even listened to it or anything. It's the same story as was being told in the Illuminatus trilogy by Robert Anton Wilson, you know, and that's from the 70s, you know, and no doubt that's born on other stuff. How much truth there is to all that, only time will tell, you know, but yeah, if that is all to be true, we're living in a fucking movie. Do you know what I mean? What a world we'd be living in if all this stuff is actually indeed true. I think we crave the novelty, those that seek. And when it actually sort of like, when we start to get any evidence of that, we go, oh, fuck me. Do you know what I mean? And that's kind of what I'm getting a little bit with the whole Moldavite and the ley lines and everything, because there's a ley line there. And I slept on that ley line without even knowing it. And had a very strange experience that night when that happened. All sorts. Anyway, so yeah, next time you see me, I'm going to be in Wiltshire. We're staying in a hobbit hut as well. It's like a hobbit pod, it's called. And yeah, my dog's got his own little hobbit pod next to our pod. Dad's 82. I'm really impressed he's coming away. But yeah, I didn't really want him kind of camping at his age. But yeah, so we're going to be staying in a hobbit pod, going to some sacred sites, and yeah, picking up some, I was going to say orgonite. Yeah, some Moldavite. Yeah, some kryptonite. And yeah, I'm probably going to go and choose the piece and then get her to mail it to me, because yeah, having that sort of stone in the car with me and my dad and the dog for a trip back from Wiltshire, that could be quite a testing experience. Yeah, you're not supposed to have it on you for more than a couple of hours at a time. Yeah, I'm really remaining kind of ambivalent with it, you know. I need to know, and if I tell you guys that I've experienced something, I have, you know. I ain't that kind of shaman that's going to start woo and kind of really, that's how I've been tempered, you know. I just want to be a straight talking guy that says I've experienced this and this is what I believe it to be. I've experienced this and it's fucking supernatural, you know. I've experienced this and it's super normal, you know. But there's weird stuff going on, but yeah, weird is the new normal. So you keep being you, and I'll catch you soon.